we invest in India on the private equity side. Well, we do invest in public markets in the U.S., but not private markets. So I can leave you with this list, but this is a list of our portfolio companies. And again, this is an investor report that's given to you for informational purposes. If you look down this right column, it's the sectors in which we're involved. So our view on India is that it's, I guess, summarized as a rising tide investment theory. So the economies in India are developing. So you're going from a very impoverished and low standard of living to a larger middle class and a higher standard of living. And so that's the rising tide, it drives sectors which we've invested in. And so if you look down, a lot of these sectors are infrastructure. So for example, power cables and heavy engineering and telecoms are three of our investment companies. Then another thesis is this growing middle class, where you're having a middle class that is demanding more services. So you can look at some of our other investments: pharmaceuticals, retail. Printing is actually security printing. We're involved in one of the largest companies in India that produces magnetic strip cards, so credit cards, debit cards, gym memberships, things like that. And then, of course, we also view India's role on a world stage. India is becoming an exporter, and particularly for the labor advantage they have, being a low-cost labor country, that they'll become an exporting country. So we have some industrial investments in the motors manufacturing, industrial valves. So that gives you a profile of how we see that marketplace.
Yes, interesting approach. So those companies, companies that you found the profile of growth is less risky. How do you assess the risk? Because still you have a risk there.
So we have